Welcome to day 4 of Strength 30 Days of Tai Chi Daily Exercises. So this is the exercise associated with day 4 of our Tai Chi. And so this exercise we'll do today is called the wall push-up. All right, it's great to build upper body strength, but also core stability. All right, so I'll demonstrate it first. I'll give you lots of tips on how to do it correctly and safely, and then we'll do a whole series of repetitions together. All right, and so what you'll want to do is find yourself a wall. All right, you want something that you can lean against with your hands. All right, so I'm going to be pushing on the wall here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you so you can see from the front view, my hands are about shoulder height, shoulder width. You can maybe make them even a little bit wider, right? And you might have to adjust depending on what feels comfortable for you. All right, so my hands are against the wall here. All right, and so I have my screen here too, so it's a little awkward. So you want to make sure maybe don't use screens. And then you want to stand back from the wall. So I'm about probably 1.5 feet, even maybe 2 feet. So you might have to get closer. You might have to get about 6 inches or even 6 to 12 inches maybe. But you want to get to the point where you're leaning into the wall a little bit. All right, you want to be weight bearing through your arms. All right, then you know that you're starting to activate all the stabilizing muscles of your upper body and core especially. All right, now you want to breathe normal. So even when you do core exercises, you don't want to hold your breath and try to tighten. You want to just try to stay stable and breathe normal. All right, and so make sure you have a nice wide position of your hands. All right, and then what you're going to do is keeping the back straight, looking straight ahead, you're just going to bring your chest and head towards the wall and then push away. All right, so you're coming forward and back. All right, now while you're doing that, I'll show you from this angle here. So you're going to breathe in and then breathe out. All right, so you are going to straighten your elbows fully. So breathing in and then breathing out. All right, now if that's real easy, you can step further away from the wall. All right, so now the further away you step, the harder it's going to be. All right, you're going to be activating your core even more. All right. Oh, by the way, you want your hands and fingers to be kind of spread apart too. You don't want them real close if you can help it. So spread the fingers apart. Try to have your weight distributed across your whole palm, your whole hands and fingers. All right, you want the weight even as possible. Now, if you have wrist issues, you can always make fists. All right, so you can just go against the wall with fists, and that can protect your wrists because now they'll be neutral. All right, so you can always do them like that. All right, so that'll protect your wrists if you have any wrist issues. If that hurts to have them, that's called extension, wrist extension. So we don't necessarily want to do that if that's going to hurt your wrists. So neutral. All right, so remember neutral for the wrist. This would be extension and this would be flexion. All right, so we want to make sure that we're either neutral or an extension for this one. All right, and so let's go ahead and do 10 repetitions together. All right, and if you have to do less, that's okay. Just do maybe 4 or 5 or whatever it is and maybe take a break. You don't have to get to 10. There's nothing magical about it. It's just a good way to build strength is you want to try to get close to 8 to 10 reps. That's the rep range that has been shown through research that helps build strength pretty good. All right, so we'll start in the starting position. All right, so hands about shoulder width apart, a little bit wider. All right, you might have to step back a little bit, adjust your hands as needed. Okay, and we'll do 10 repetitions together. All right, so breathing in as you come down, breathing out as you push. All right, so here we go, and begin. So breathing in, breathing out, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so some key tips to remember with this also is try to keep your torso and hips as one unit. All right, so you don't want to be doing this where your hips are coming out. You want to keep everything like one straight line basically. all right? But you don't want to be super rigid either, but you don't want to be sticking the hips back, all right? So once again, you don't want to be doing that. You want to just bring everything towards the wall, all right? So you're kind of bringing everything as one unit towards the wall. All right, now remember, the further away your feet are, the harder it is. So if it's too hard, then bring your feet a little closer, and that'll help it make it a little easier for you. If you want to make it more challenging, then you can actually progress using a staircase. All right, and so you go to a staircase and make sure your feet are on the floor, not on the actual first step, and then come onto the stairs. All right, and so say maybe you're on like the 6th step. All right, and then you do that for maybe a couple days or a week or maybe a couple weeks. And then once you feel that that's easy, you go down a step. Remember to keep the back straight. I'm just showing you the level more so. But you always want to keep your back straight when you're doing it, okay? So we're not sticking the hips out. But anyways, as you go down the steps, you'll get closer and closer to the floor. And that'll make it harder and harder. But you'll want to progress to some degree. But there might be a certain level where you're like, okay, that's good enough. I'm just going to work there. You don't ever have to get to the floor to do a floor push-up. There's nothing magical about that either. It's really about meeting yourself where you're at and progressing from there. All right, so make sure you're breathing. Make sure you're protecting your wrists. If they're injured or they have issues, use fists against the wall. Or you can even put some padding. You can use like some washcloth or some gloves and fists, so you can really pad them up to where it's feeling safer. But also, if you're using any towel or washcloth, just be careful it's not slipping on you. You can get more and more difficulty by getting lower and lower. Make sure to really keep everything stable and not hinging too much with your hips. And that'll make sure you really build upper body strength and core stability at the same time. All right, let me know how it goes for you, or if you have any questions, just type them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.